Okay, we are ready for some drafting.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, dudes.
Is this a stream? What is this?
No, just recording. So, do you need to? I can blow you out if you want me to.
Please,
Okay.
Please
Please don't make me do that.
There's just gonna be a giant sensor bar right here.
Just Photoshop.
I mean, give me 10% of the master side. And that's fine.
You got it.
Here's Penny. Rolling in it.
Shall we?
All right, good luck, everyone.
Have fun.
Hello, and welcome to another Team Draft LA draft commentary. Playing against Fistful of Mana this week, and let's see how we open. Greed's Gambit is a basically unplayable. I'm just gonna say totally unplayable rare, but I'm excited to see I get a second stab at a rare here with 3 steps ahead. Of course, blue has been much talked about in this format, swinging between totally unplayable to excellent support color, and I tend to come down on the latter side of things lately. And I was actually, because of that, I was actually hoping to be able to draft blue coming into this draft here, just with the hunch that it might be a little underdrafted. Here we see a nice blue desert, Vault Plunders, totally fine common, Murder is a nice one, Desperado if I need another blue card, and Breaches, which, you know, it's a 3/3 menace for 3 with some good upside that's pretty hard to build around, especially in Team Draft Pod. Oh yeah, the Bedrock Sentinel is somewhat notable. I don't think it's pickable, but definitely not a bad war card. Some fixing and card advantage in the late game, but I land on Murder here. I think just having the most removal on a team has seemed like a pretty viable strategy. Oh, and here I think is my biggest regret of the draft. Just go ahead and say that not taking this desertion. I had just never seen it in play before. And I guess I'm a little, I just have biases against 5 mana non-modal counterspells. But it would have fit pretty well in the deck that I ended up playing here. Having said that, though, I still don't think it's necessarily incorrect to take Crom here, which is what I do. Again, people seem to know that the Izzet color pair is on paper the weakest, but Crom and the Izzet gold cards in general are all very good, and so I think speccing on an early one here is totally fine over the, I thought, clunky 5 mana counterspell. But desertion certainly got me as the matches played out, and and as I said, I probably would have been happy to have it in my final build. So yeah, it looks like I'm favoring just Grixis in general at the moment here. Scalestorm Summoner is certainly a powerful card, but not at its best in the Grixis sphere. Green is obviously the most powerful color, but we certainly seem to be getting cut off from it here. I pulled up the Servant of the Stinger. Yeah, as I was saying, the Summoner kind of needs green to get the 4 power creatures in play that it needs. Lively Dirge is, of course, a powerful card. I think besides the Summoner, all the best cards in this pack are black. And And so that's definitely what I'm eyeing here. Here we see Soured Springs. I quickly pull and a Mirage Mesa. This draft definitely was lacking in deserts in my seat. I think this was maybe my only chance to pick up an on-color desert card. I end up favoring the just removal spell. As I said, it's kind of important to have as many of those as possible. But I think if I were to go back now, I would have, and do it differently, I would have taken the desert there. Nothing really notable in this pack. Daring Thunder Thief is something that I don't hate to play. Thunder Salvo, same thing. Fairly replaceable. Sort of a more specific build around removal spell. And I'm not very attached to red at the moment, so I'm most attached to black, and Rictus Robber is a totally fine black playable that can, sometimes make two bodies. It's actually worked out to be less often than I would have hoped that you actually get the two bodies out of it, but still tough to take anything else in that pack over it. On our wheel here, we see Lively Dirge. There's a couple of those floating around the table. Failed Fording, but I think the card with the biggest upside here is just the Gigapede. It counts as removal on an expensive stick. And I certainly am, 99% to play black at this point. And Failed Fording is something that I don't feel I need to pick up very highly. If I want one, I can usually just get one. And now we see both of the 3-mana 2/4s here. I end up going with the Desperado just because, I have a good blue card that I would like to play. Kind of questionable whether that was the correct choice here. I also, it's so early in the draft that we could have definitely, and I was really happy to see a late Take the Fall here. That's pretty nice for me. The Desperado can be a real problem. Like, even if you just get a couple mills off, your opponent starts feeling like they have to close the game out pretty quickly. And then I'm more surprised to go with the Desperado there. That also kind of makes sense, We can get some mill going. Another Rictus Robber here seems to make sense with what I've got, Removal, control. I'm certainly, black is my main color. Blue is likely my secondary color. And I'm actually pretty happy to see the Thunder Thief here in third to last pick. That's something that I've been pretty okay playing one of in these sort of instant speed, Dimir control sort of decks, which is certainly the direction that I'm leaning at the moment. I'm going to be on the lookout for fixing as well. I wouldn't mind splashing this Chrome if I'm able to get the fixing for it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the start here. Lots of good removal, a solid creature base and curve. Oh, I should say, picking up Crom there was also sort of a.
I did that several times.
I was only listening.
Picking Crom there was sort of a passing cut too, since I had just passed the breaches in the pack before. Pack 2, we see a Repulse off the top. That's pretty nice. Hell to Pay is fine, but not a reason for me to really consider red here. Phantom Interference, Bloodseeker. Those are totally fine commons. overall, pretty unexciting pack, though Repulse is, of course, very strong. I would just rather be picking it up in the pick 2 to 4 range, but I'm not going to complain too much. It's a nice little efficient 2-for-1 bit of interaction. Most of the sort of repulse effects these days are sorcery speed, I feel. So it certainly feels good passing the turn with the repulse up. So yeah, I've got things to look out for as we go on here. Certainly fixing and deserts in general. We see a derailment here, which I pull up to the front. Synthesizer, which is, not doing anything in this format. Oh, this was actually kind of an interesting pack. We see Murder, Shoot the Sheriff, and Raven of Fell Omens. All three of these I would be pretty happy to play in this deck. I would say Shoot the Sheriff is probably third on the list behind Murder, Raven. But knowing that and seeing how open black was in the previous pack, and knowing that I just, the desert, the Dimir Desert didn't wheel for me in the last pack, I'm trying to look for fixing for Crom and also just deserts for the Desert's Due. Again, not super happy picking up Pylons pick 2, but it felt correct to me in the situation. And then just wheel one of the black cards, hopefully. As they are all fairly comparable on power level in my deck, I would say. And black was so open, like I said, that felt fairly confident that I could pick one up later. Pulling up a Loan Shark here. Decent sized body. Draws a card. Not much else to speak of in this pack. Eyeing this desert and wishing that it were touching blue or black in some way, of course. Holy Cows. A notable pass. The Gila Courser, of course. Overall, nothing that I'm going to be... Nothing hateable, of course. And Loan Shark is just going to be pretty good for me, I think. It's another Gigapede. I'm not super excited to pick up Gigapede number 2, I think. I was past a Drover Grizzly in pack 1 from my right, so I'm not super worried about passing one back at this point. The Rope Master, and the Slick Shot Vault Buster, both not cards that I'm super excited to play or pick up pick 4. But pretty unexciting pack, and I've just had a kind of a hard time picking up playables in some drafts, in the team drafts in the past, so I think it's important to pick up one of those 3 at the top here. I think I end up going with the Vault Buster, yeah. Kind of unfortunate pack 2 pick 4 Vault Buster, but it's got a big booty. Blocks pretty well. Consuming Ashes here, I think, is a pretty easy pick. We do see Make Your Own Luck, though, which is not something I'm thrilled to be passing. But Consuming Ashes is so good for me that's just kind of have to stomach it. See another one here as well as an Ancient Cornucopia. Nothing else notable. Well, Savage Smash is a good, solid fight spell. But I think the Make Your Own Lucks can certainly be pretty valuable in a team draft, and making sure our opponents have as few of those as possible seem to have value to me. Starting up on the wheel here, I've been fairly happy with how Phantom Interference has played out. It's a really flexible card, and this was the Pylons pack. We wheel both the Raven and the Shoot the Sheriff, and I decide that I'm sitting sitting pretty with the removal now, and so the Raven just as a nice way to gain a little extra life and stabilize. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with Phantom Interference overall. I think having the quench effect on turns 2 and 3, and then on turn 4, maybe you play a 2-drop and hold up quench again. Turn 5, you get both modes unlocked. Maybe, fitting in some other 2-drops or instant speed stuff in there as well. Yeah, it feels very good. Here, Gila Courser's certainly the best card in this pack, but kind of hard to say no to a nice crisp, $15 bill. So I'll take the Fomori Vault on pack 1, pick 9. Nothing super hateable here. Doc Warlock can certainly lead to some spirally games, so I think that's probably the most hate pickable one. Annie Joins Up can also be abused a little bit with various flicker and bounce effects, but I have yet to see anyone make that happen against me. See a couple of green cards. I'm just going to pass both of them and let the table decide. Here I will just go ahead and take the Ankle Biter, though. As the only real playable, if my opponent wants to play in a Wingsmith, then I will I'll certainly just go ahead and let them.
Tickets for the con usually go on sale. Like, I thought they'd be on sale by now for October.
Oh, I don't think it was this early last time, but I couldn't say.
Pack 3, we have Ariette, which is a, reasonable 4-mana 4/4 lifelink, but we see the Outcaster Green Blade, which, don't let the rarity symbol fool you. This is absolutely a bomb. Basically unpassable, especially since I know I have not been seeing any green. It's a little unfortunate. It's likely that it either would have been hate picked to my left or gotten to my teammate, as it turns out, but tough to be 100% confident in that read. Area, as I was saying, is a reasonable 4/4 lifelinker, but seeing as I already had something that I was looking to splash and not picking up fixing for, adding another thing to that list didn't seem worthwhile. We see a Tycoon is fine. Another Consuming Ashes is pretty good. Playing the Heist, I definitely wouldn't mind having a copy of in a deck like this, but it also seems much more likely to wheel, and just having the safety that comes with all this premium removal certainly makes me feel a lot stronger going into deck building. So just go ahead and snap that up. I feel pretty good. This town ain't big enough is reasonable. There's another Breaches, but hard to pass up on Tyrant Scorn, which is just, exactly my colors and exactly what I'm trying to do. Definitely aware that I'm passing Breaches number 2 here, which means that my opponent to my left likely got there on the Izzet, but again, I'll just take the good card that I will absolutely play, which there seem to be none of in this pack. I could have considered taking the Magebane Lizard, which would probably be just pretty good against me. but it's also just something I'm relatively okay with my opponents putting in their decks. Razzle Dazzler, it doesn't seem like this deck doesn't seem like a good double spell deck. Razzle Dazzler kind of requires you to be a bit more proactive than what I'm doing here, as it's much more unlikely to be double spelling on your opponent's turns in any given scenario. And my deck is mostly playing on my opponent's turn. So, yeah. Oops. Just go ahead and shuffle that back in, pretend like I'm not taking it. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Skulldugger here. Nice little 1 mana interaction, commits a crime, win some combat. See another Crom here. Certainly a sign that the Izzet player is getting paid off, which will happen, you know. For as weak as the color pair is perceived, like I said, it does have some very strong uncommons that pretty much no one else is going to be interested in playing. Just kind of taking another little look here. Doing pretty good on playables. So just kind of going and seeing what I need. Oh, I think I was checking for Lively Dirge. This doesn't seem like a great Lively Dirge deck. I don't have any good 3 or 4 mana creatures to tutor up. I'm not especially graveyard focused. I don't have great sources of mill and sort of just a low creature count in general. So go ahead and take this Rope Master. Fairly happy to see this pick 6 Vault Plunder. I'll take any 2-for-1 I can in my removal heavy deck, and certainly very happy to see this Intimidation campaign come back around. That is just the payoff that I was looking for. Here now, there's, I'm not looking to play a second Vault Buster, so I'll just sort of hate pick the Prosperity Tycoon. Next up, basically nothing for me. Not at all interested in a Boneyard Desecrator. The text is basically blank in my deck. So just take a Gold Pan, some emergency fixing if I really decide I want to go that way. Once again, the Razzle Dazzler does not seem at home here, but I think I go ahead and decide to take it here, just in case I decided I need to fill in that spot on the curve, or maybe side into it against just as a blocker against something more aggressive. This probably didn't require this much of a tank, but I'm guessing that the only other consideration here is hate picking one of the red cards, as I'm now fairly confident that the opponent to my left is in red. Oh, maybe I'm just waiting for the pack to get picked up, actually. Yeah, taking a look at my pile in the meantime. Practicing some good zone drafting. Making sure that the card count is all good. And take this Razzle Dazzler, past the 2 red cards, It's another Skullduggery. I'm not very interested in playing a second one. This doesn't seem like a great Link Breaker deck by any means. Actually, don't remember what I take here. Oh, okay. Well, sure. going back with what I know now, I'm sure I would have just gone ahead and taken the Reckless Lackey, as it's definitely not the worst in the Izzet deck. Here, I'm definitely passing a playable to the Izzet player. Decide to just hate pick the big reach creature with inevitability, and then pretty happy to get an even later Vault Plunderer here. Cryptic Conviction probably won't make the deck, but it's in my color at least.
All good.
So yeah, started out in black and got to play blue as my support color. Let's take a look at the decks. See, I'm mostly playing an instant speed, got some good card quality, though nothing super bomby, of course. Jesse, our sub here, got the Final Showdown, which is super nice. Pretty solid deck otherwise. There's a Nathan there. And Alex has got some Naya Mounty kind of stuff. Looks pretty solid. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think.